Hi guys, it's me Sass. I hope you all have had a fantastic day so far. I have my Dutch bros, so I am doing very well. Woot woot. Today we're continuing our Kingdom series with the first season. Our first video that we did focused on the prequel, Kingdom Ashen of the North. If you guys have not checked that video out, I highly recommend watching that first, and I'll have a link somewhere on the screen and in the description for you, so feel free to watch that and then pop back over here to catch up on season 1. If you guys want to show some free support, hit the like button, drop a comment, and consider subscribing. It definitely helps out my channel and I appreciate it. Also, PSA, on September 30th, 7 p.m., we'll be doing our Explain series live on stream. It's new. We'll see how this goes. If that intrigues you at all, make sure you go to my channel and click on set a reminder on the live stream portion of it all. So that way you guys remember. All right. Onwards. Kingdom Season 1 takes place after our prequel, since we're not hearing any mention of the Japanese soldiers invading anymore, and that was one of the main concerns of our prequel, so we're going to assume it's been a few years. I am doing this video in 2 parts, summing up with commentary and spoiler territory. I will in fact put a spoiler warning on the screen if you don't want anything to be ruined. I forgot in the first one. I'm so sorry. But I am the queen of spoilers, so let's make sure that I actually do that this time. Oh, but anywho, let's get on to the video. The king's illegitimate son, Prince Chang, has been trying to take care of his father for several days now, but keeps getting told repeatedly by Queen Consort Cho, who is pregnant with his legitimate brother, or the legitimate heir to the kingdom, wink, kingdom, tells him he cannot attend his father because he falls ill too, and to go back to the prince's palace in a very snippy, high up, kind of passive aggressive way, which really irks me. And whenever someone's like initially passive aggressive, like right off the bat, I'm instantly like, you're evil, aren't you? Are you evil? That's always the question I end up asking myself. And I must also say, I do love that Korean movies and TV shows start off immediately with a good guy and a bad guy clearly defined. In the first 15-20 minutes of the show, we have the clear good guy, Prince Chang, with the clear bad guy, that Haewon. I'm never going to be able to remember how to pronounce that. Haewon Cho clan as the baddies, and they keep building up this dynamic as we go further along in the season and all the way in season 2, and I just really appreciate it because it's a clear player roster that you can keep track of and helps you keep track of all of the background history, because it's a Korean show, y'all, so you know it's gonna be layered backstory upon backstory upon backstory, so it really helps to make sure you have all of that information clear, ready to go, so you can easily start assigning different stories to different characters to be like, okay, we're good, we're moving on now. But the other thing though that I kind of have a problem with is that each person in the royal family has their own palace. Like there's a king's palace, there's a queen's palace, there's the prince's palace, and it's very reminiscent in French with their palace in Paris, and then their house, their gigantic ass beautiful house in Versailles. The prince, unable to help his father, leaves to find the last royal physician, Ryu Seung-ryong, who treated his father. I said that correctly, I think, the first time, which is very impressive. At the same time, the Haewon Cho clan have deemed the prince to be a traitor, since he was agreeing with the Confucian scholars who wanted to usurp the current power structure. So keep in mind that right now we have an ill father where son is trying to get help for him, and he's also been branded a traitor by the current power structure and has the power structure pounding his butt. Keep that in mind. Those are our 2 main story points right now. Keep those in mind. Fleeing the capital, the prince and his bodyguard go to find answers to his father's illness and go to the Royal Physicians Clinic in the southern province to get those answers. Along the way, they learn about how poorly their people are living under the Haewon Cho clan's rule, and is really shocked, really shocked to see how just bad these people have it and how they're not getting any help from the government, how he's seeing these Haewon clan foot soldiers, you know, abusing their power and stealing food and beating up people who have questions, or it's foreshadowing. So you can see how if they're not getting the support and the care and the defense that they need, how quickly things will go to shit and everything will just crumble around you. At the end of the day, you need to take care of all of your people, not just the rich ones, and just call it a day. Take care of everybody. Don't pick and choose. We have a location jump, and we are currently outside the Royal Physicians Clinic, where we meet the Royal Physician Assistant, Bae, aka Bae Doo-na, as she cares for dozens of patients under poor conditions and is quickly running out of resources to take care of everyone. Bae and the others welcome back the royal doctor, prepare a funeral for his assistant. While they're all taking care of the funeral, a patient trying to be helpful makes a deer stew for the people. How the fuck did you make a deer stew, my dude? How? You apparently have a bad shoulder. I don't understand, but whatever. Later that night, the patients all mysteriously die and come back from the dead. Dun, 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 dun. Kingdom. The clinic is obviously at a breaking point. If we're running out of supplies, people are talking about, you know, wanting to starve rather than eat the meal that you prepared. Like, it's clearly going nowhere good, and people are clearly getting fed up and frustrated. The low class healthcare is clearly not a priority to the current power structure, aka the Haewon Cho clan, and it definitely shows. Not taking care of everyone and leaving them to fend for themselves will really come back and bite them in the ass, aka foreshadowing. Again, very in your face, very present, but you have to love Bae Doo-na, who plays Bae. She is amazing. She's been in Stranger on Netflix and Sense8 also on Netflix, and is just a fantastic actress, and I absolutely adore her body of work. She is amazing. The prince and his bodyguard finally get to the clinic and see the mayhem that has ensued. Being good citizens that they are, they've gone to the next village and notified the magistrate of all of the horror and mayhem that has gone on there. In the meantime, Bae and the patient who survived finally get to that village and are taken in by the magistrate and the police there. They advise Cho, the magistrate, aka the queen's consort's cousin, to decapitate the undead and to burn the bodies. Cho ignores the sage advice, and that decision has some dire consequences that evening. The following day, the prince sees how poorly the magistrate is taking control of the situation and is not doing very much or anything to help the people, both low class and high class, escape the situation. So he takes control and he orders all the undead bodies are destroyed, including low class and high class, and that the last remaining ship be used to take all the survivors, low class and high class, to safety. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you think that's going to really work? Do you think that's going to happen? Nay. However, shortly before nightfall, the upper class betray the prince, take the only ship, and get the hell out of Dodge, leaving the prince, the lower class, and anyone who's still in the village to have to deal with the undead that come back at nighttime. Woot woot. The high class are truly despicable in this series, and time after time, you will just see the most despicable ways that you treat everyone else who's not of their stature, and it's just so frustrating to see, because you're just like, take care of everybody. You can take care of everybody, then you will be in a better spot in the long run. But if you're only worrying about you, yourself, and yours, that's not going, you won't progress anywhere. Nothing good will come of that. So focus on everybody. Cho, the magistrate, Arguably has the best arc in the seasons. He starts off really annoying and unsure of himself, and he's definitely not leadership material. And all of that just kind of gives into his selfishness and not having to take control for anything, because he's always being told what to do, or he's just constantly giving away that control to somebody else to take care of the problem at hand. And they do a terrible job. And you're just sitting there looking at him being like, why are you not taking control of the situation? This is yours to deal with. And you're just passing the buck on somebody else, hoping that they do a good job. Really, really frustrating. And you can really see as he gets more interaction with other characters throughout season 1 and season 2, how he ends up taking some of their cues to be a better leader and take control of situations and be more assertive. And also has a really nice payoff in season 2 when he's finally questioning everything around him, and he's not just being a lackey for somebody else, which I think is marvelous. In a bold move, the remaining survivors and the prince flee back to the clinic to take refuge there during the night. I would be totally dead here. There is zero chance of me not tripping and dying along this hustling path that they're doing. Because the villages are, I would assume, very close next to each other. We don't really get like a sense of how far away they are distance-wise, but we do see the sun starting to set, and then this plan being hatched up, and then they all get all of their shit together, and they are hustling back down the path. So I assume it's pretty close. But we really get to see how the prince really truly cares for all of his people, because he's staying to help out. I wouldn't imagine any other high-ranking, high-class citizen be willing to stay behind at the very, very back, where most likely they would be the first ones to go down if the dead caught up to them, to stay and help out someone who's lower than them. I don't see that, which is why, again, we get a very clear-cut idea of who the good guys are and who the bad guys are. And we also get a fantastic little god tier move from the bodyguard, who does this really cool, like, samurai slash and hack and roll. It's really cool. I absolutely love it. This proves to be in an ideal place to survive the evening attack. Unfortunately, the Red Guard, who are controlled by the Haewon-cho clan and have deemed the prince a traitor, remember, arrive at the clinic the following morning and murder the remaining survivors. Luckily, the prince and his group, the bodyguard, Sobe, the patient, Yong, and Cho, managed to escape the royal guard and flee to Sangju, is lorded by the prince's mentor, Lord An Hyun. Meanwhile, the Haewon-cho clan has clamped down on its power by placing Queen Cho on the throne, by blocking off the south, where the prince and the army of the undead are, and the Haewon-cho clan leader is making his moves down south with a mysterious guest in tow to get rid of the prince and hopefully stop the undead horde that is coming their way. And in sum, guys, that takes care of season 1 in a nutshell. Those are all your main beats that you guys need to know about, without hopefully giving any spoilers away. I'm pretty sure I didn't. If I did, let me know in the comments. But let's go ahead and let's jump into the spoiler section, shall we? Yes, the spoiler section. Queen Cho is a dressed up Haewon-cho clan puppet on the throne and is a master of greenlighting people, and I absolutely hate people who gaslight. It just makes me so sad and upset. The way she tries to manipulate the prince into feeling bad about asking questions about his dad and wanting to attend his dad, and then spinning it so it makes it seem as if he's trying to go after his little brother, is just like... So going to the clinic now, and that whole shit show of a mess, the meal was not made from animals. Remember the meal that Young, the patient who survived the entire ordeal, made? Yeah, not from an animal. You guys know at the beginning of the video, there was the dude who was passing the food under the screen, and then it got like dragged under. Well, that was the king, one. Two, that was the royal physician's assistant. So, and we know that he died because the royal physician said he died. Well, that's him. And the patients ate him. Young grabbed the body, told Sobe that once he's dead, he's food anyways, chopped him up, put him in a soup, and gave it to all the patients. Guess what caused the patients to come back from the dead? Cadaver soup. I do not understand why Sobe didn't tell her patients that they were eating the dead assistant. She made no moves to say anything. You would think, as a healthcare person, that would be her first thing she says, don't eat the cannibalistic soup. But she doesn't. Like they could have puked it up and maybe not have turned, or not everyone would have turned, like only a few people could have. It's kind of like when Rick cut off Herschel's leg in The Walking Dead in the prison to prevent him from turning into a zombie. I felt like this just didn't. So I love that Sobe and Leong boarded up the clinic. The freaking prince and the bodyguard just kind of barge in and tear everything up. Like, I know that they have a purpose for being there, and I know that they really want to find what's going on with the king, and I get that. But I feel like if I saw that situation and everything looking like it was trying to keep people in, I would not be going in there myself to figure out like what the hell is going on. Go circle back to the prince being a pinnacle of morality and caring about the people and wanting to figure out what happened with this clinic that was taking care of all of his lower class citizens. So like it does make sense for him to keep pushing to go in. So remember how the high class led on the ship that stranded everybody? Turns out someone brought their deceased bitten one on board and chomped on everyone's booty cheeks with a cold dish of karma. Yay! So thanks to that glorious decision, we get the most kick-ass entrance from Lord On's men, who mysteriously know how to kill the undead. What? Onwards to season 2. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button, drop a comment, and consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. Reminder, next week, on September 30th, we are going to be live streaming season 2. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you go to my channel. You go to upcoming live streams and you hit set a reminder so that way you don't miss anything. I appreciate your guys' time. I'm Sass. Till next time, stay safe and stay happy.